Edworld, Canada, and with me is Simran.
Hi everyone, this is Simran.
And so now, today we're gonna answer every questions that we've been receiving a lot of inquiries about postgraduate work permit, spousal work permit, and the programs that are eligible for postgraduate work permit. So we're gonna answer every question. The first question is from Vijay. Can a visitor still get a study permit after November 1st, 2024?
Okay, so there's a lot of misconception about that. A lot of things are going to change after 1st November 2024, which is true, but not every category is going to be impacted. So visitor to study permit is one of the category which is not being impacted from that. There were some changes which were made, for example, the requirement for provincial attestation letter or the higher funding requirement, which were back then in January 2024 and July 2024. But after that, there has been no major changes other than the PGWP. So if you're on a visitor visa in Canada and you want to apply for a study permit, you can still do that.
Okay, thank you. And the second question we have from Muhammad. Who can get an open spouse work permit?
Okay, open spouse work permit is still open to students who are studying a master's degree program, but according to the new changes, if they are doing a master's program which is for 1 year, is not going to be eligible for open spouse work permit anymore. So if you're going for a master's program and you're doing it for at least 16 months, then your spouse will be eligible for open spouse work permit. Also, if you're a PGWP holder, your spouse can still apply for an open spouse work permit. If you're in a diploma program, a certificate program, even a bachelor's degree, other than some specific fields, the open spouse work permit is not available anymore.
Okay. And next one we have from Suraj. So he says, as per the new rules, are degree programs eligible for postgraduate work permit?
Okay, so there was a lot of confusion about this thing as well, that if you are doing a bachelor's in business, for example, right? It's still a degree, but it's in business. So is it going to be eligible for PGWP? Because a lot of the programs which are eligible for PGWP will be the high demand programs. But if you're doing a degree program, and if it's a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, 16 months and above, from a university, not from a college, from a university, you are still eligible for a postgraduate work permit up to 3 years.
Okay, thank you. Next one is from Monica, who is not eligible for postgraduate work permit.
Okay, so starting from 1st November 2024, only certain programs will be eligible for postgraduate work permit. Anyone who has applied for a study permit before 1st November is going to get the PGWP according to the old rules. So this is only applicable on the people who are going to apply for a study permit 1st November onwards. And there are certain programs, for example, if you're studying a program which is in STEM, right? If you're studying a program which is healthcare, if you're studying a program related to agriculture, or if you're studying any trade programs. So there is a list on the IRCC website and it has more than 900 occupations which are still eligible for the PGWP. Even if you're going to study something in logistics and any program related to supply chain management, or if you're going to study even a digital marketing program, these programs are still eligible for PGWP. So there are a lot of programs which are still eligible, so there's nothing to worry about. You have to just get the right information or get in touch with us, and then we can guide you which programs are eligible for PGWP.
So so there are still a lot of options.
Yes.
And the next one is from Anish. Who needs a provincial attestation letter?
Okay, so anyone who's applying for a study permit outside Canada or inside Canada requires a provincial attestation letter. Why we need that? Because there is a capping by the government and they're going to only accept a certain number of students. So the provincial attestation letter is given by your school. A lot of private colleges in Ontario are not able to provide those attestation letters anymore. So we have to stick with public colleges, or we have to stick with the colleges, for example, in British Columbia, where they have more number of attestation letters available. But again, it's an important document. If you do not attach it in your application, your study permit application will be refused or returned. So we have to make sure when we are applying for a study permit outside or inside, we need to attach a provincial attestation letter in the application.
Okay. The next one is from Drishti.
Mm-hmm.
What are the new immigration level plans?
Okay, so there has been a recent announcement by the immigration minister that they're going to have, they are also going to limit the immigration numbers compared to last year, so like up to 20%, and that's going to be implemented for 2025, 2026, and 2027 as well. But still, they are going to focus more on the applicants which are already inside Canada. So if you are a student in Canada, you're on a work permit, postgraduate work permit in Canada, you still have the chances. But again, there will be more targeted draws. So if you're working in certain occupations which are in high demand, you will have higher chances of getting a PR.
Okay. And about the next question, I think like most of the people have doubts
Mm-hmm.
about this.
Yeah.
So are student permit extension impacted by new rules?
So if you are applying for a study permit extension and you already had an initial study permit, you are not going to be impacted by these rules. Only the students who are applying for the study permit for the first time, and if they will be applying for the PGWP later on, they will be impacted by this. But anyone before 1st November, even if they're applying for a study permit extension, they should be fine.
Okay. And the next one is from Sanya.
Mm-hmm.
Can a PGWP holder apply for a spousal open work permit?
Yes. If you have a PGWP, if your spouse wants to apply for an open spouse work permit, they can apply.
Okay. The next one we have Ramesh.
Mm-hmm.
What are the best programs to study in Canada in 2025? Okay, good one.
Okay, so yeah, there has been a lot of confusion about this as well, that what program should we study. If you're sticking to the traditional programs which were able to get you a PGWP and a permanent residency, for example, like a business management program, that is not going to happen anymore. So you have to choose a field which is in demand for your PGWP, and later on, IRCC is also going to focus on people who are required to contribute into the Canadian economy. So if you're picking up a program, if I would suggest to go for a master's degree if you can. That's a good program. You can also go for bachelor's degrees, or if you're picking a diploma program, make sure you're picking something in related to IT, and I would say healthcare or even trade programs are really good options to choose from. Yes.
So we are at the end of it, and we have a lot of queries, but we're just gonna copy this much.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing, what is the message you want to give to the new students wanting to come in Canada?
Yeah, I would like to tell them that don't be afraid. It seems like Canada is like closing doors on students and is not willing to take any more students or immigrants. That is not going to happen. They still require international students to come to Canada, and they're still looking for immigrants. The only thing which you have to focus on is to get the right information.
Yeah.
Because there has been a lot of changes coming. That's the reason there is a lot of misinformation online, on social media. So when you're getting that information, make sure the information is coming from an expert, somebody who's an expert in the industry and they know what's going on, or it's coming from the credible source, for example, IRCC's website. So if you have the right information and if you apply for the right program and right pathways, you can still come to Canada and be successful here.
Okay, so that was the last question and we're done. Thank you so much for watching and
I'm
take care.
happy to help.
Take care, bye bye.
Take care, bye bye.